Hey everybody, come on in. This is just going to be a special episode. We're going to talk about some Mandela effects that still bother me to this day, and we're going to talk about my theory on the connection to CERN. Now, I'm not a scientist, but I believe CERN ties into this. I believe that the Mandela effects are more than a misremembering phenomenon. I believe there's a lot more going on than a lot of people being confused about the way things were and about changes in things. I think some of these are real changes. We're going to get into the ones that bother me to this day, but I want to hear about the ones that bother you. The Mandela effects that give you trouble, that give you concern, that give you reason to believe that something something is wrong. Something weird is happening to reality. Something is being done. These Mandelas give me that fear, and I'm well aware that there is technology that exists that would blow my mind, that would literally look like magic to me. I'm aware, and the government admits that they're 50 years ahead of us technology wise. So think about 50 years ago and what the technology today would look like to someone 50 years ago. It would look like magic. So I believe they have things and can do things that would literally blow our mind. And a lot of very intelligent people, a lot of scientists, now I said I'm not a scientist, but a lot of scientists have warned about the work being done at CERN, just the work being done, just the work that they're doing with the Large Hadron Collider, the particle accelerator that they have there at CERN. And the things that they're messing with the Higgs boson particle, which is the fabric of reality. It's what holds everything together. It's often called the God particle. And that's what they're messing with. And people like Stephen Hawking warned that what they were doing was messing with the fabric of reality and that they could unravel reality. I believe something is manipulating the past, manipulating our memories. I interviewed a guy named Tyler last night on the Conspiracy Theory show, and we didn't get deep into it because the feed crashed right when he brought it up. But he believes that there's a genocide of memories going on, that the power elite, whatever you would call them, the cabal that runs this world, they are Luciferian. They do worship demons. They do carry out these ceremonies and practices. His theory is that they're eliminating our memories, changing them to manipulate us for whatever reason. I'm not really sure why, because like I said, I'm going to have him back on so we can really get into it. But I want to go through, I wrote down 20 Mandelas that bother me to this day. And I want to hear from you, so let me know any Mandelas that give you bother, that still bug you. If I don't cover your favorite, then I want to hear from you and let me know what yours is. But my number one Mandela that bothers me the most out of all Mandela effects is the Berenstain Bears. The Berenstain Bears, they say, are the Berenstain Bears. Wait, I'm getting that wrong. No, I'm not. I always thought it was Steen because I thought it was pronounced Steen or Stein. I never knew for sure how to pronounce it, and I loved those books when I was a kid. But they say it's always been Berenstain. See, it fights with itself in my mind. That's why I stumbled over it. I know it was Berenstain because I remember having a struggle, and lots of people remember having this struggle over how to pronounce it when I was learning how to read. It was either Steen or Stein. I knew that, and I settled on Steen. Berenstain Bears. That, and I'm positive of it. I'm absolutely 100% positive that it was Berenstain Bears, and now it's Berenstain. That bothers me. I go through my old books and I look at them and I cannot believe. But right there on the cover, it says Berenstain. Now, I would have never had a problem with that as a child. My memories don't make sense if it was always Berenstain, you know? It doesn't make sense that I don't remember it that way. You know, you would think that I would remember it the correct way, or I would think. Something that I loved these books. I had all of them, the whole collection of Berenstain Bears books. And I know it was Berenstain Bears. I'm for sure of it. The next one that I am absolutely positive about has to do with the Kit Kat logo. I know for a fact that it was Kit Dash Kat, and it always was Kit Dash Kat. I know that, and I'm positive of it because I remember there was even a Mitch Hedberg joke where he joked about how they're robbing him of chocolate. And, I know that's what it was. There's another one. This isn't on the list, but there's another one that bothers me a lot, and it's the adult diapers. Depends. It's not depends, it's depend. Well, I remember as a comic, there were tons of jokes about depends. Anonymous Human says Berenstein, absolutely. I am 100% sure. I would swear it on a stack of Bibles. I am positive that that was changed. Fix in Time says M&M's melts in your mouth, not in your hand. What color are the huts on Gilligan's Island? I don't know. I don't remember that one. And no one watched it. Murphy's oil soap, right? Murphy's. Fix in Time put Mur blank oil soap. Mur blank oil soap. What do you remember? I remember Murphy's. Murphy's. The next one on my list is Eli Whitney. It blows my mind that Eli Whitney was white. Eli Whitney was a white man. I remember a black man being the man that invented the cotton gin. I don't know what you remember, but I remember learning about it in Black History Month in school. I clearly remember it, and I shouldn't because that's not the case, and never has been the case, and it's a false memory on my part, but I remember it. I remember learning about him as a black man. I remember Eli Whitney being taught to me as a black man. Is it Murphy? It's not Murphy's? Fix in Time says it's Murphy oil soap. That's like O'Reilly's. O'Reilly's Auto Parts. Ow! That's how I remember that going, but it's not that way anymore. It's O'Reilly. That upsets me too. Chuck E. Cheese's, same thing. Missing the, or it's one way or the other. It's missing the apostrophe S now, I think. That one's not on my list, so I'm not 100% sure. A lot of these give me trouble when I try to remember what they actually are because I always want to go with how I remember them. Anonymous says, I did reports for Black History Month on Eli. Don't have them anymore. No, that's crazy. That's crazy. But Eli Whitney was a white man. And in this reality, we'll get to theories on why and what's changing it as we move on later on. And like I think it's CERN. I think it's the things that CERN is messing with, but that's just my theory. The next one has to do with the Febreze logo. This one bothers me and to no end. I remember it being Febreze being spelled Febreeze, like breeze. And I remember this one changing. I remember seeing it in the store and noticing the difference. And I remember staring at it for a long time, like I know that used to have two E's, but I let it go as a logo change. You can change your logo. Companies can change their logo. That happens. That's not what these are. These are, it's never been double E. It's always been the one E in Febreze. I don't remember it that way. Fix in Time says Wiki Chuck E. Cheese's. It's now on Wiki as Cheese's as the old logo. Sorry, Logopedia. Oh, really? So they're admitting now they changed that one? Because I hung out at Chuck E. Cheese when I was a kid, and I know they changed that one. Advanced or advanced auto. We don't have those here, so I don't know. I've never heard of advanced auto. Anonymous says, I'm with you on CERN. Once the LHC was shut down, the observed Mandela effect slowed drastically. A lot of very intelligent people feel like they're messing with things they shouldn't be messing with. And we'll get to other reasons why I think that about CERN after we finish the list of Mandelas, but something's doing it. My wife even believes that it's mismemory, that we're all misremembering things, and that's all it is, and it's as simple as that. But I know there's more to it. These ones on this list that I'm going through right now, I'm positive they have changed. Like this next one from Snow White. Mirror, mirror on the wall. It's not that way anymore. She doesn't say mirror, mirror on the wall. She says magic mirror. Magic mirror on the wall. That makes me mad. The movie ones bother me a lot. There's another movie one, it didn't make my list, but Forrest Gump. Life is like a box of chocolates. But no, it's life was now. Life was like a box of chocolates. That one bothers me too. But it didn't make the list. It didn't make my top 20. The next one on my top 20 is C3PO's silver leg. I don't remember C3PO ever having a silver leg. And I had the toys. I had the Darth Vader head, and all the action figures. And I loved my C3PO doll. And I know I played with it all the time. I don't remember a silver leg on it. I don't still have it. But that one was a new one to me. That one was a change to me. And there is Star Wars merchandise that exists where he has no silver leg. So, but they say he always has, and that the pieces that exist that show no silver leg are misprints or accidents. And I don't know. I believe that's a change. The other one that didn't make the list from Star Wars is Luke, I am your father. That's not what he says. Now he says, no, I am your father. And I remember it being Luke, and that's one of my favorite movies of all time. Vixen Time says, Beatles woke up, blank, out of bed, dragged a comb across my head. I'm not a Beatles fan. What do you guys think? Any Beatles fans out there want to take a guess at that? And the 80s commercial, Paul Hogan, I'll put another shrimp on the Barbie, isn't it? It was blank another shrimp on the Barbie. But the next one on my list is from the movie Silence of the Lambs. Now, this is a very popular movie. A lot of people have probably seen Silence of the Lambs a few times even, probably. I know I have. And I was surprised to find out a few things. A little movie trivia. Did you know that Hannibal Lecter, Anthony Hopkins, is only in that movie for less than like 10 minutes? He's barely in that movie. And you just remember him being in it more because he was so memorable in it. But he actually is hardly in that movie. Anyway, he never says hello, Clarice. That bothers me. He says good morning. Even good morning, Clarice. Another shrimp on the Barbie? No, it's not. Put another shrimp on the Barbie. Didn't even Cheech Marin make a movie playing off that joke? I think there was a Cheech Marin movie, Shrimp on the Barbie or something like that, where they make fun of that joke and talk about that. Hold on. Hey, Steve. Hey, Jeffrey. I didn't see you guys because I didn't have Facebook loaded up. I didn't focus on Facebook for this one. This one I'm focusing on YouTube. I want YouTube audience to grow. And if you're watching on Facebook, please come to Me on Things and Stuff on YouTube and hang out with the YouTube crowd. Because we're cool over here on YouTube. And this is where the cool kids hang. Slip it on there, smooth operator. Anonymous says. The next one that bothers me is another one from my childhood. This was a cartoon I grew up on. The Flintstones. Flintstones. Stones. Flintstones. Flintstones. Nope. It's now the Flint Stones. Flintstones. The Flint Stones. They say we've always just been leaving that T out. That T's always been there. Oh, Anonymous Human says I was just joking because it sounds ridiculous. I thought maybe, because it does sound so ridiculous, I thought maybe it was the tagline to the commercial. Like, slip it on there. But Bridge, okay, Fixin' Time says this one I think I'm positive. So Bridge blank the River Kwai. Bridge blank the River Kwai. It's bridge over the River Kwai. Right? Please tell me I'm right. That's going to make the list. That'll be number 21 if I'm wrong. Try to find Fred saying, Wilma, I'm home. What? Fred no longer says, Wilma, I'm home? Okay. Number 22 on the list. You're blowing my mind today, Fixin' Time. See what fun we have on YouTube, Facebook? I have an audience on Facebook because I've been streaming to Facebook for like 3 years. But YouTube, I'm trying to build up. I'm so close to 1,000 subscribers. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. But the next one on my list after Flintstones, that's ridiculous. That's not, no. No. Bridge on the River Kwai? Do I remember anything correctly? You know what I mean? The list I was just going on to double check because I wanted to double check because some of these change back. Let me know, anybody that's here, have you ever seen a Mandela change back? There's one I'll tell you about later on that did it to me and made me look like a fool because I put it in a video. And now anytime I'm going to talk about a Mandela, I double check them before. The list I checked off of is a database with over 400. And I almost agree with all of them. There's some I don't get, but mostly it's because I wasn't a fan or I didn't really pay attention to that particular thing. But Fixin' Time says, Wilma says it once at the psychiatrist pretending to be Fred. Really? That is outrageous. Number 22 on the list. The next one, number 7 on my list, is from Queen, the band Queen. And it's a famous song, We Are the Champions of the World, right? But that ain't it. It's We Are the Champions. He never said of the world in the radio version. I remember it being the climax of the song, We Are the Champions of the World. Nope. Live version, yes. Radio version, no. But I remember it being the radio version. And that bothers me. I remember singing along to it on the radio. Not a live version. I never saw Queen in concert. I'm not old enough to have seen Queen in concert. Well, I guess I am, but it wouldn't have been with Freddie. Fixin' Time says 2015 sci-fi movie Girl Owns Planet Earth Jupiter blank. Okay, does anybody know that one? Because that one, I'm good at movie trivia, but I don't know that one. So anybody that has a guess at that one, Fixin' Time has a question again and has had some really good ones so far. But Anonymous Human says, I remember the world at the end too. Me too. Absolutely. I remember it being part of the song. It was the climax of the song. The part everyone remembers. Of the world. Not there. Not there. Number 10 on my list. Number 10. Mr. Rogers' theme song is different now. I heard a guy singing it at work yesterday, and I heard him singing it, and I waited. Like, say it the right way. I'm like, say it the right way. And he didn't. He said it the wrong way. And I'm like, oh my God, what reality am I in? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day for a neighbor. Won't you be mine? That's how I remember it. It's not what it is anymore. It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. A beautiful day for a neighbor. Does that bother anybody else? Anybody but me? That drives me crazy. I love Mr. Rogers. And now with the Mr. Rogers movie, it's coming back to light again, and it's been exposed that the song has changed. The Mr. Rogers theme song is now different. That bothers me tremendously. But the next one on my list, and this one is makes me feel stupid when I think about it, honestly. So I'm being a little brave here by admitting this. But I believed and thought there were 52 states. I thought there were 52 states. I thought when we took on Alaska and Hawaii, those became 51 and 52. It's not. That we apparently had 48 before that, and now we're at 50. And I feel stupid for thinking that, but I remember learning it in school that we had 52 states. And I'm wrong. I'm wrong. And I've always been wrong. But I thought for a while, I remember even saying it, that there's 52, you know. For a fact, there's actually 52. I remember thinking that, and I remember even being told that the number on the stars of the flag don't actually represent the number of states because we've had additions, etc. But Fixin' Time says 52 cards in a deck. Yeah, 52 card pickup. When you were a kid, you would say 52 card pickup. Are you saying maybe that's where I got it from? James says don't say crazy with Mandela effects. Oh, my wife thinks that it's crazy. My wife thinks we just misremembered everything. She doesn't experience any of these, and we're only a year apart in age. See, I used to wonder if it was generational, and that if you were from that generation, you remembered it differently, and if you learned about that generation, you remembered it the correct way. But because of mismemory, but she's from my generation. She doesn't experience any of these. Matter of fact, the only one she ever agreed with me on was the one that switched back on me, and it was after it had switched back. So she just didn't really agree with me. I was wrong. I know, lucky wife, right? Because it breaks your mind. I remember the first one I found out about it wasn't Nelson Mandela's death. It was Berenstain Bears. That was the first one because I remember looking through my old books because I had the book club when I was a kid. I loved to read. And I loved the Berenstain Bears books. It's not Berenstain. When I look at it, I'm like, that is so wrong. It's Berenstein. Or Stein. Because I never was sure if I was saying it right. 52 cards in a deck, just a possible thought relationship. Could be. Could be. Definitely. If you told me there was less than 52 cards in a deck, I was going to have to go count them right now. I have an unopened deck in my eyesight. I was going to count them on air and make sure because that would be number 23 and you can't keep blowing my mind, dude. Number 12 on my list. What is it? You remember the bear that fights wildfires and only you can prevent wildfires? What's his name? I'm gonna play Fixin' Time real quick and ask you what's his name. Do you remember the bear's name? Held the shovel, had the hat, never wore a shirt, always wore jeans. What was his name? Fixin' Time says the color chartreuse. We can get to that. It didn't make the list, but we can get to that. That is a weird one. The color chartreuse changed. It went from green to like a pink. And that's a weird one. But it's Smokey Bear. I remember it being Smokey the Bear. Smokey the Bear. Smokey the Bear says only you can prevent forest fires. But the was never there. It's Smokey Bear. That one bugs me. So I remember being Smokey the Bear. Yeah, Steven says the bear. That's how I remember it too. Steven says my wife gets every Emmy question wrong, but just blows it off when I tell her the new way it is. She's just like, guess I'm wrong. Oh well, it doesn't matter. And people ask me that too, because we'll get to later how I think we're manipulating reality. But people ask me, what does it matter? Well, it matters. You're messing with your memories. They're messing with, what else are they messing with? If they're messing with something, maybe we are misremembering, but that's a weird phenomenon, isn't it? Millions of people sharing the same mismemories. That's weird. The next one is a Bible one. And this is number 13 on my list. We're getting to the end of the list, so we're getting to CERN. We're going to talk about CERN and what I think's causing it. But the lion and the lamb. The lion lays down with the lamb. From the Bible, it's not there no more. The wolf lays down with the lamb. That one bothers me. I'm not a religious scholar, but I remember the lion and the lamb. I remember my grandma had, like, embroidered pillows with that stuff on it, hanging on the wall and stuff. It's the wolf and the lamb. That don't even ring a bell. That don't sound right at all. It just sounds wrong. It sounds foreign to my ears. Anonymous Human says, "What? It was always Smokey the Bear. Y'all messing with me?" Nope. I like that I got one that you hadn't heard. Yeah, it's Smokey Bear now. They took the out. Sarah Lee slogan. Nobody doesn't like Sarah Lee, right? Fixin' Time says nobody blank likes Sarah Lee. Doesn't. Nobody doesn't like Sarah Lee. Isn't that it? I hope that's it. I'll move on to my next one while I wait to find out if it's doesn't. It should be doesn't in this reality, and hopefully it still is. But the next one on my list is from E.T. E.T. was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid, and in a big way because I had a huge crush on Drew Barrymore. I have had a huge crush on Drew Barrymore my whole life. We've always been the same age, roughly the same age. So I loved ET and probably saw it 15 times. I had the glasses from McDonald's. And I had the toys and the Happy Meal toys and all that stuff. I remember this movie pretty well. And I remember him saying, "ET, phone home. ET, phone home." He says home phone. Home phone. ET, home phone. It's phone home, dude. I know for a fact it is. Phone home. No, it's home phone now. Does it? No, it doesn't. Nobody doesn't like. Oh, you recall does it. I recall doesn't. So this one I guess I don't get. Because I recall doesn't. Nobody doesn't like Sarah Lee. I remember it being like ridiculous. Because you got nobody and doesn't right next to each other. Fixin' Time says debunked. Watch the whole clip yourself. ET says both. Thank you. Good. I verified that one before the feed. Remember I told you I'd check. And I guess I didn't look deep enough. I'm going to throw my DVD back in of ET. Because good. Scratch that one off. That one off the list. Good. Thank you. Something is right in the world. I figured he had to at least say both. I'm like, even if he said it in a row, he says phone home. Because if he said home phone, he said phone home in the middle there. I knew he said it. 15. The Monopoly Man. Did he have a monocle or not? Do you remember the Monopoly Man from the game Monopoly having a monocle? I do. I'll go ahead and admit that I do remember that. I remember the Monopoly Man wearing a monocle. He never did. Never had a monocle. That's a false memory, they say. I think it's a change, but they say it's false. It bugs me when I see the monocle, like, because there's artists that have done it and put it side by side. The monocle looks right on every card. Every card, it looks right. Every time I see it, yes, Anonymous Human agrees on the monocle. I remember a monocle. I remember the Monopoly guy having a monocle. Steven says ET says home phone. Then the kid says phone home. Then ET repeats phone home. Okay. All right. Well, good. Good. I'm glad. Because when they changed the guns to walkie-talkies, they had done enough changing to that movie. They didn't need to change anything else. Anonymous Human says, does the laughing cow one bother anyone else? Those cheese wheels are wrong. What is the laughing cow one? I don't think I've heard that one. Vixen Time says Walter Cronkite used to sign off his 22-minute broadcast with the day's date followed by, and that's the way it blank is. And that's the way it is. Right? Please tell me I'm right. 16, another Bible one. Horns on Moses in art. Do you remember Moses being depicted in art with horns? There are many representations of Moses in famous art and statues with horns. That blows me away. Why? First off, why? This one bothers me on different levels. I don't remember there ever being horns on Moses in paintings and things like that. And like I said, my grandma was real religious. She was a lot more religious than I've ever been. She had this stuff all over her house. I don't remember seeing horns on Moses, but now there's mostly pictures of Moses with horns. That's the most common representation that I'm finding in art. You can find hundreds of examples of it, and I don't know why. Why does he have horns? Does anybody know? Is anybody maybe a biblical expert? And maybe there's a good reason for the horns. Maybe they symbolize something or they have some sort of meaning. I don't know. Anonymous says, wait, let me back up. She has a cheese wheel earring. Their official website says she wears red earrings, but a lot remember gold earrings. Yes, gold earrings. And that even makes more sense, but no, gold earrings for sure. All right, I got to find out if I was right about is. Was I right about that's the way it is? And then Vixen Time has another one. Laurel and Hardy, that's another blank mess you've gotten me into. How do you remember that? Fine mess is what I remember. But tell me, am I right about that? And is. He is fascinating. Vixen Time should be co-host of this feed. You got better Mandelas than I do. The 17th one that bothers me to no end, and I'm not even a James Bond movie fan, is from a James Bond movie, Moonraker. Jaws' girlfriend, Dolly, Jaws' love interest, had braces. That was the thing. That was the whole thing. That he had a metal mouth and no one would ever love him. And then she smiles and has a metal mouth. That was the whole thing. Not no more. She don't have braces anymore. It doesn't even make any sense anymore. But they say she never did have braces. I think that's crazy. Another nice mess? Nice mess. It's fine mess. That's number 24. You've put 4 on this list already. And that's the way it is. Johnny Carson and Jim Carrey and Bruce Almighty both get it wrong by quoting Walter with that's the way it was. Oh, so I was right about is. Good. All right. But Dolly's braces in Moonraker bother me so bad because I know she had braces and now she doesn't. Another change to movie or TV is the A-Team van. Now, I don't know if you remember this show. It was a very popular show, the A-Team. You know, Mr. T, I Pity the Fool, all of that. They had a van, and every episode they had this van. It was one of the consistent characters on the show. And I had the toy, and I remember it being all black with a red pinstripe. Now it's two-tone, black and gray, still has the pinstripe, but black and gray two-tone. I don't remember that. I remember it being all black. I'm positive it was all black with a red pinstripe. They say no. They say that's never how it's been, and this is the way it's always been. Two-tone. Number 19 made my list. because there's three here. This is a triple play on this one. The attack on the Statue of Liberty. First off, were you aware that the attack on the Statue of Liberty happened? That there was an attack on the Statue of Liberty, and that's why you can't go up in the tower, the torch rather. That's why you're not allowed up there. Were you even aware that there was an attack? It was it was the first, I think, terrorist attack on United States soil. And a lot of people aren't even aware that it ever happened, but there was a munitions barge blew up in that harbor near the Statue of Liberty, and it caused damage to the torch. And to this day, you can't go up in the torch. But there are a lot of people with memories of going up in that torch, being in that torch. No one ever was. No one's been in that torch ever since the Black Tom explosion. James is right. The Black Tom explosion, that's what it was called. And no one's been in that torch ever since. But there are a lot of people that remember being in the torch. There's a lot of people that don't even remember there ever being an attack on the Statue of Liberty, it being damaged in a terrorist attack. And then the Statue of Liberty itself has moved. It has changed location. A lot of people remember it being on a different island than it currently is, and even being in a different position in the New York City skyline. So that one has three. And I get all three of them because when I first started researching these, I'd never heard of that terrorist attack. And I'm the conspiracy theory guy. I have a conspiracy theory show. I would think I would have known something like that, but I guess it's underreported, or what excuse you would give, I'm not sure. But why didn't I learn about that in school? That's a national monument that was attacked and damaged. You'd think you'd learn about it. But Anonymous says, Black Tom blew my mind when I learned about it earlier this year. Fixin' Time says one of the largest importers of rice is Budweiser. Yeah, they make it with rice, always have. I don't know a lot about beer. I shouldn't get on that one. But let's see. Dilemma. Oh, that's a spelling one. Dilemma or dilemma. Dilemma. You ever look at a word and it just don't look right? I want to go with the first one. It's not dilemma, right? Hello, Brenda. Brenda says hello from Illinois. Welcome to the feed. This is a feed. We're talking about Mandelas. I'm going through a list of Mandelas that still bother me to this day, and there's been really good comments, people talking about Mandelas that bother them. Steve says on Facebook, play it again, Sam. Now, I remember that too, but he doesn't say that. That's not what he says now. And I'm not a huge fan of that movie, but I know that one's often misquoted. So a lot of people misremember that. Another one that's very misremembered, and I do experience this one, but it didn't make my list, is Timmy never fell down the well on Lassie. Do you remember Timmy falling down the well? I remember that being a big episode and a big deal, and Lassie goes back and gets help. Lassie falls in the well. Doesn't even make sense now, right? So Timmy has to go get the dog help? How does that make the dog super smart? The dog went and got help for Timmy. That's the way I remember it. Fixin' Time says Princess Leia in Star Wars, the first hologram they ever admitted to on the screen. Help me, Obi-Wan. You're blank, only hope. Help me, Obi-Wan. You're our only hope. Fixin' Time says Lassie fell down the well. Yeah, Lassie. Lassie did. I remembered it as Timmy, but it's Lassie. Number 20. This one bothers me. It's not my number one. My number one is Berenstein Bears. And that's the name of the Berenstein Bears, the Berenstein. It's not Berenstain. I don't care what anybody says. It's not. This one's from the Bible as well. And I remember this being a famous quote. I can remember my grandma saying it all the time. I remember hearing it in church, but I never have, because money isn't the root of all evil. It's not in the Bible. That's not the way it's said. It doesn't say money's the root of all evil. It says something else. And it's different than that. But that was my 20 that bugged me to death. And then the one that changed back on me, I'll go ahead and mention that because I got embarrassed by it. It's in one of my Mandela videos that I made for YouTube. Thanks. It's my only hope. Help me, Obi-Wan. You're our only. No, it's R. It should be R. That one. My only hope. That would mean she's just speaking for herself. R sounds right to me. Anonymous Human says government is the root of all evil. Yeah. Yeah. Our government is corrupt to its core, and we could definitely get into that. Fixin' Time says she is pleading for her entire planet and says, "You're my only hope." Yeah, no, it'd be your our only hope. There's a lot of changes in Star Wars. There's been a lot of changes. I believe these are changes. I know people want to say we're misremembering this and it's just remembering it wrong. But I really think it's changes in reality. I think they're messing with the fabric of reality. And why do I think that? Why do I think CERN is messing with it? In particular, CERN. Why do I think that? Well, there's a lot of weird things with CERN. The very first reason, hi Mark, the very first reason would be that they're messing with things that you shouldn't mess with. A lot of people are very concerned. A lot of scientists, a lot of mainstream scientists are very concerned with the work being done at CERN. They are messing with they want to figure out what makes the particle that holds everything together, the God particle. What what happens when you break that up, when you collide that in their particle collider? What happens when you toy with that? Well, a lot of very smart people think that what happens is you mess with reality. Fix in Time says C3PO has black palms now? What? C3PO has black palms? I gotta look into that. Steve says Timmy got kidnapped by the circus people and Lassie rescues him. I'm not a big Lassie fan. Did you know that, well, there's a lot of interesting Lassie facts, but we won't get into that right now. Conscious Machine says yes, tobacco and grass smoking here too. I'm sorry about the cigarette. Live feeds make me nervous for now. I made it a long time without smoking, but I smoke 2 packs of these a day. It is a terrible habit. Don't ever start. And when I get rattled, it's just better for me to smoke it because otherwise it's all I can think about. Fixin' Time. Sex in the city, right? It's in the city, right? If you build it, they will come. Fixin' Time says if you build it, blank will come. It's they, right? You're very good. You got a lot of these. Sally Field. Okay, I'm going to ask the audience. I'm going to ask Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, by the way, come to YouTube and hang out with us. I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. But was it Sally Field or Sally Fields? I'm going to see what Facebook thinks about that and see if I get an answer over on Facebook. But I was talking about what I think of CERN. I'm not a scientist. I'm not saying this is fact. Again, the Mandela effect could really just be mass mismemory. I don't know. I'm of the belief, I'm a contrarian. I'm of the belief that I don't know, and that we don't know. And that this is just a possibility that I'm exploring because CERN is extremely creepy. I think we need to at least talk about how CERN is extremely creepy and they play up to it. They own up to it. They encourage this creepy vibe that they put out. They have weird ceremonies at CERN. I wanted to show you the dance. There is a dance that they did when they opened up their opening ceremony and thing. And they've had a few ceremonies since that are demonic and weird. But this one was creepy. And I wanted to show it to you, but there's copyright restrictions on YouTube. I didn't want to get the video pulled. So look it up for yourself. It exists. And there's a lot of ceremonies at CERN. And one that just took place was a human sacrifice. Now, not a real human sacrifice, a mock human sacrifice. And it ended up being a hoax. And they say it was employees playing a joke. Well, what kind of joke is that? This was a restricted employee only area. So when the video leaked, it was clear that it had to be employees or somebody involved with CERN or closely involved with CERN. It was filmed from inside a CERN building, and when you look at the reflection of the person filming it, all the people down on the lawn in the ceremony are wearing cloaks. So is the guy filming it. And they stabbed this woman in front of the Shiva statue. There is a Shiva statue outside of CERN. Shiva is the god of destruction. They joke about destruction. They joke about destroying things. They make a lot of cryptic jokes. There's a lot of cryptic stuff on their website. They play up to the weirdness. So it's kind of like, yeah, I watched a video that said it was a hoax, that CERN and everybody, that the girl's fine, and that they released the identities of everyone. But you know what I mean? Did they? Did they really? Who knows? But officially, CERN has put out press releases and said that they've identified the employees involved and taken care of the issue, and that it was a prank, a hoax. So, Fixin' Time says it's built on Devil's Past. Very interesting story. CERN. And look at the logo. The logo's on the screen right now, isn't it? 666 in that logo. 666 is clearly in the CERN logo. They play up to it. They play up to the occult angle. And they play up to the Shiva thing. Shiva casts a shadow, a huge shadow on their building. Shiva is highly featured at CERN. Shiva is the goddess of destruction. There was also a recent video, and this one they also say is a hoax, but who knows, of a portal being opened in the sky above CERN. They're messing with stuff. They're trying to do stuff like that. They're trying to accomplish stuff like that at CERN. They talk about trying to do things like that, trying to unlock other dimensions. You know, there's a lot of scientists that say that what they're doing there is dangerous. And I don't fully understand, but I have listened to people that do and listen to their concerns and put two and two together. You know, there's no such thing as coincidences. Things are changing in reality, and there is a organization with a large hadron collider, a physics institute with creepy rituals and creepy practices that are doing that express thing, that are trying to mess with reality, mess with the fabric of reality. So I don't know. I mean, there are scientists that think that what they're doing could do stuff like this. And stuff like this is happening. I listed off 20 things, but we had other people here who listed a lot of good things, a lot of good Mandelas. There are a lot of them. It's a lot of coincidences, a lot of people misremembering in mass, you know, and that's a little weird. That's a fascinating phenomenon in itself. If that many people are misremembering, so is the Google symbol. Slace says 666. It is. It is. These people are very into numerology and symbolism, the occult. We're lorded over by Luciferians. I fully believe that, but that's, another topic. We can get into it if you want. We've spent a good chunk of time talking about the Mandela effect and CERN, so I feel like we've at least lived up to the title of the video. We can talk about anything you want at this point. I go off the comments. So whatever you guys are talking about is what we'll talk about. Fixin' Time says, look up sphere within a sphere. Bronze sculptures placed throughout the realm. Very important to TPTB. Right on, I will look that up. Mark says CERN is built on the bottomless pit that's mentioned in the Bible. Wow. Mark says Shiva is now man. Anonymous Human says the sphere at the Vatican. Mark says there are 33,000 Hadron Colliders in this world. But that one is the biggest, right? That is the largest. We have them here in the United States. But what they're doing at CERN, though, am I being misled? You know, the people that I'm listening to about it, that are concerned about it and speak out about it, are people that I respect in the scientific, in the realm of science. So are they just fear mongering? Is is what they're doing at CERN not dangerous? I mean, maybe you can tell me a little more because what I hear what they're messing with. Okay, there was never an answer on Facebook. I remember Sally Fields, but it's Sally Field. And she did have another Mandela. It didn't make the list, but there was a famous line when she won the Oscar that where she said, "You really really like me." That one's changed. It's different now. I don't remember exactly which one's right and which one's the false memory, but there's a difference there too. That's another big change. But Mark says yes, it is. China are making one 6 times bigger. Now, why? What makes it better if it's bigger? Does that make it more powerful or able to do more? Because I've heard it theorized that CERN is playing with the possibility of opening up other dimensions. Again, I'm out of my element. I'm not a scientist, but that's what I hear they're messing with. I don't know how much truth is there. Doesn't Sally's brother work at CERN? Anonymous Human asks. I don't know. Brenda says she remembers Sally Fields. Me too. And I'm a fan of hers. I liked her. She was in a lot of movies. Vixen Time says yes, Sally's brother does work at CERN. Does anybody think I'm off base blaming CERN for the Mandelas? Am I way off with that connection? I mean, I'll admit to having limited scientific knowledge. You know, limited to the realms of what you can achieve with the little computer in your pocket and the information available to us. I don't have any degrees hanging on my wall, but I think what they're messing with at CERN has the potential to do dangerous and real things in our reality and make changes. Anonymous Human says not at all. I think it's a good connection. And when you look into CERN, they're very creepy. And why? Why are they playing up the occult angle? Why do they do that? They do it on a regular basis. Their official advertising, their official publication, their official publicity stuff, all is laced with occult symbolism and weird dancing and weird ceremonies, including this human sacrifice that happened on their grounds and in this leaked fake video that, well, fake that they say, because when the guy in the video, there's these cloaked figures and they gather in front of the Shiva statue around this woman dressed in a white robe. She drops her robe, gets on the ground, and they stab her. Well, when the guy stabs her, the person filming it freaks out and moves the camera so you don't see anything in the video. But why are they doing this weird stuff there? You know what I mean? They're playing up to it at the very least. And the Denver International Airport, which I've covered before, does that too. They play up to the Illuminati and all of that very much. Why? They use it in their advertising too. Mark says, and they are the most Mandela affected actors out there. Sally and Tom Hanks, they're both involved with CERN. Vixen Time says, for me, Shirley Temple died at a very young age. She didn't? I thought that Shirley Temple died at a very young age too. Mark says they're doing it because they can. I believe that you're right. I think they're seeing what they can mess with, what they can actually do. And maybe they have something big in mind to really make changes. Maybe Tyler's right. Maybe there is a genocide of memories going on, and they are trying to erase and change the past. Who knows? All I know is that there's a lot that I don't know. Too much, really. And way too much for me to decide that I'm sure about anything. I don't know how anybody can tell me that it's crazy, especially when people that are much smarter than I am, like Elon Musk, believes there's a 1 in a billion chance that we don't live in a computer simulation. So if someone can say that, isn't that crazy that we're a video game? Someone can say that and then be treated like they're stupid if they say maybe we don't understand our reality or maybe our reality is being tampered with. Oh, you must be crazy. Why is one crazy and one's not? Why is it crazy to think somebody's messing with reality and then not crazy to think there's multiple dimensions? They talk about it, but it's crazy to think they're trying to do that, trying to open dimensions and open portals. Mark says no one can stop them. Shirley Temple is alive? What? I thought she died at a young age. I really did. Mark says pulling powers from the cosmos. Oh man, this is going to turn into a conspiracy theories and chill. Like I said, they're Luciferian, they're demonic. They're pulling from the demon realm, and I believe. Slace says Tom Hanks has weird pictures on his Instagram. For example, little kids' shoes laying on the street. I've seen that. That is creepy. And he's a weird dude. And I've also heard that he comes off very wholesome in his public image, but in his private image, private life is not like that. Is actually Henry Winkler. Did you know that there's a feud, and been a long time feud ever since that movie with the dog, Turner and Hooch? There's been a long time feud between Henry Winkler and Tom Hanks. They don't like each other. Tom Hanks got Henry Winkler, the Fonz, fired from that movie. He was directing that movie, and Tom Hanks and him didn't get along, and Tom Hanks got him fired. But Project Montauk, that's a good subject. We could get into Montauk. Is everybody familiar with Project Montauk in the room? There was an offshoot of MK Ultra, and where they were messing with a lot of Tesla's research and a lot of little Nazi research and Japanese research as well about entering other dimensions, traveling through time. The Philadelphia experiment is a good one. Also, using some of Tesla's research, where they did make a battleship disappear. Anonymous Human says, what is Montauk? You know that show Stranger Things? That's based on Project Montauk. That is based very closely on Project Montauk. It's almost called Montauk. The show was almost called Montauk. But they did experiments. It was part of MK Ultra. MK Ultra was a CIA operation that has since been declassified, and they've had to admit to doing, where they experimented on people. They did all kinds of experiments, but what they did at Montauk was they were experimenting with other dimensions, they were experimenting with remote viewing, they were experimenting with telepathic abilities, but they were doing these experiments on children, and that's what 11 on Stranger Things is based on, is a Montauk victim of these experiments. If you build it, he will come. They will come. If you build it, they will come. He will come. Mark says D-Wave computers. Hanks was in the Philadelphia movie, yeah? Oh, who played the lead role in Twister? Um, damn it. What's his name? Bill Paxton? Wasn't it Bill Paxton? Female lead role in Deja Vu. Female lead role in Deja Vu. The inventor of the D-wave admits pulling information from parallel universes? Really? I need to look into the D-wave computer. The inventor admits to pulling information from parallel universes. That's crazy. Slay says psychic, telepathic, superhuman strength powers, etc. Yep. Conscious says Bill Paxton may have been it. Jaws. You're going to need a bigger boat is what it is now, but it was we're going to need a bigger boat, wasn't it? Isn't that what it used to be? We're going to need a bigger boat, or is it you're going to be a bigger boat? I'm not a big Jaws fan, but that one did change. But I'm glad you agree with me on the CERN thing. Because, like I said, I'm not a scientist. I've listened to a lot of really smart people. I've read a lot about CERN, and they're very creepy. That's undeniable. So I think there's something there. I think they're trying to do those kind of things. They've at least expressed that they're trying to mess with that kind of stuff. And I believe that they may have succeeded. That's what we're seeing is changes in reality. You know, another good one that bothers me that didn't make my list, but is Home Depot. I remember it being the Home Depot. But now it's just Home Depot. Slay says Paula Patton. Oh, wait. He's probably talking about something. Brenda says one of mine is One Day at a Time. Can't remember her name. The oldest girl remembering her overdosing. Remember her overdosing. Vixen Time says that I remember Tommy Lee Jones playing the lead in Twister. Really? Right on. That's a new one on me, but Anonymous Human says they are firing up the LHC in spring 2021. Watch the effects roll out then. I really do think it's CERN. I think the Mandela effect and CERN tie together, and Mandela effect is evidence and residual results from what they're doing, what they're messing with. I think that's what's going on. I think. Oh wait, why did it hide this? Mark had a comment and it hid it, but I'm going to show it. Automatically held for review. I don't know why it's holding your comment, Mark, but Mark said to go to his channel, and that he has a lot of residuals on his channel. But Fixin' Time asks another one. Oh, blank blank on the wall. Who is the fairest? We mentioned this one earlier, but what is it? Blank blank on the wall, right? I thought it was mirror mirror, but it's not. It's magic mirror. Brenda says I believe CERN is definitely involved. So do I. I really do. I think all evidence points in that direction, and I also believe there's no such thing as coincidence. When all these coincidences start lining up, and you gotta acknowledge them. Like I said, the database where I fact checked this stuff before I came on has over 400 in their database with links to references and where you can research and look them up and verify them. And out of the 20, I only had one that I was wrong about, and apparently that's one that a lot of people are wrong about. So, Anonymous Human says off to work and home from work. Mark says my latest Mandela effect find is Marks and Spencer's is now Mark and Spencer. Spencer's Gifts? Spencer's Gifts? I know. I was at the mall. It's Spencer. It was Spencer's. It was always Spencer's. I know that for a fact. But this has been a chat and a way to hang out with the YouTube audience. I focused majorly on YouTube for this one. I want my YouTube channel to grow. It's growing, but it's growing slow. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you dig this channel and you dig what we're doing here and you like this, share it out, support it, and help us grow. Anonymous Humor says Human says Spencer's. Absolutely. Fixin' Time says blank silver away. Hi ho. Hi ho, silver away. What is it now? Mark says Marks and Spencer's from the UK supermarket chain. I'd never heard of that one. But I was at the mall the other day and I could have swore, unless I'm remembering it wrong, now I'm questioning myself. But I always do. I always question myself. And if I am wrong, point it out later on. But Conscious Machine says it's a joke. Tom McCain's is now Tom McCann. What? Or Tom McCann's is now Tom McCann. Hio Silver. Oh, okay. Yeah, Hio. Right. But this has been a feed to boost the YouTube audience. I want you guys to subscribe and share and grow the YouTube channel. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. That's what I'm trying to do. And we've got a lot of great videos on the channel you can check out. And so look around while you're here and see if there's something else you like. I cover all kinds of stuff. And there's about 4 or 5 different Mandelas on my channel too. Mandela videos where I've done actual videos, not just me sitting there talking about them and rattling them off, but with pictures and all that. So check those out on the channel and let me know what you think of some of those. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. We will be back again later on at 7 for the Daily Burn, and then again at 8 for Conspiracy Theories and Chill live with Nick Reeder. He's going to be on. We're going to talk about QAnon. Nick is a Q believer. He follows the QAnon phenomenon, and he's going to take us on a guided tour of QAnon. And as you know, I'm a Bernie supporter, but I'm open-minded. He's a Trump supporter. We're going to have a good talk. And I bet you it's going to be informative and entertaining. So come by for that, and everyone will learn something, I'm sure, about QAnon. And this is happening right now. So Anonymous says, thanks for the great live chat. You're welcome. Thank you for being here and participating. This is the best turnout I've ever gotten on a live feed on YouTube. I set out to do this for YouTube, so it worked out perfect. So thank you guys for coming, and thanks for hanging out with me. And like I said, I'll see you later on again tonight. There'll be 2 more shows tonight. So check out the other videos on the channel and hang out with us next time. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.